because I forgot to hit record. All right. Hello, hello. So let me do a little introduction. Whew, I'm glad I remembered to do it then. I'm glad I decided to hit record. So hello and welcome to the module 1 of the pleasure principle, which is all about the pleasure of business. I am Catherine Pfeiffer, and I am a leadership and intimacy mentor and coach. So today we are talking about how to create beauty and presence and power in your work. We're going to talk about tapping into what lights you up. And we're going to talk about leading from your pleasure. We're going to talk about leading from that place of feeling really, really, really good. We're going to talk about the difference between the masculine energy and the positive or the feminine energy, the positive energy. That was a Freudian slip. Oh my goodness, sorry about that. Masculine energy is positive, feminine energy is positive. And it's not necessarily even connected to the gender specific roles. Although generally speaking, you know, as a like stereotype, men tend to be more in their masculine and women tend to be more in their feminine, but that's not actually true. Because I know plenty of women business leaders who are really 100% in their masculine and naturally in their masculine. And I know lots of men who are in their feminine. And so we are going to start with a little deep breathing. And we are going to get centered. I need to get centered because I'm mad that I forgot to hit record. So we are going to take a few minutes, close our eyes, take in some deep breaths. In our nose and out our mouth. And we are going to get connected to one another in all times and spaces, listening to this module of this mini program. And here we are. Taking one more deep breath in through your nose. And out your mouth. I'd like to invite you to close down any extra tabs you have open. I'd like for you to put your phone on silent if you can. I'd like for you to take a minute to just get into the vibes and to the space of being here with me now. Pour yourself a little water or some tea. Light a candle. I have mine right here. And let me tell you a little bit about this mini program, the pleasure principle. It feels a little naughty to use the word pleasure because it might have some relation to something sexual, or it might be about something that we've in our past thought was maybe a little dirty or not connected to work. I mean, how often do we connect the word pleasure to work and it not mean sex? It's a question to ask yourself. And I wondered if the words, the pleasure principle or the business of pleasure would turn some people off. And I bet it did. I bet there's people out there who are like, what the fuck is that? What is she even talking about? Well, I don't get it. And it was designed that way on purpose. I designed it to be a little bit confronting and a little bit in your face about this word pleasure. Because pleasure is not just about physical intimacy. It's not about orgasms. It can be. That's amazing. But it's also about the juicy things that you have around you, like water in a pink wine glass, or an orchid that you bought at Whole Foods, or a candle that smells like wood fire, or some sage, or a pretty calendar that just makes you happy whenever you look at it. That's what pleasure in business can be about. So today I have 5 points that I want to go through with you. And then next module, we're going to be talking about intimacy and the intimacy spectrum. And then the final day, we're going to be talking about creating your life as your own masterpiece. So before I hit record, I was talking about how my work is all about leadership and intimacy and the combination of that. And I really, truly believe that the foundation to this work is all about creating a safe, beautiful, divine foundation, landing space, container for you to do your best work. And the only way, I believe, because we are wired for connection, we are wired for community, the only way that we can lead powerfully is if we first know ourselves and if we can know other people as well. And there's plenty of things that can get in the way of us knowing ourselves. And there's plenty of things that can get in the way of us knowing other people. It used to be that people didn't care about that. There was a bottom line, a bottom dollar, and it didn't really matter. And perhaps there were thoughtful and caring leaders out there who really did care about their employees. And I believe that's true. I've met some of them. And then there were also leaders who didn't really care at all. They were there to run a mission, run a job, and it didn't really matter about the people who were following along and doing the work. Well, that paradigm is changing. That paradigm is rapidly changing. And our world has been turned upside down. In the past few years, we have gone through so much energy shift, so much waking up, so much confronting that we literally cannot do it the way that we did it in the past. Our world, our bodies, our lives won't let us. And so this is the foundation to the next level. This is the foundation to leadership, in my opinion. And it starts with creating the most beautiful surroundings, internally and externally. So today we're going to talk about the pleasure of business. We're going to talk about igniting the beauty, presence, and power in your everyday work. We're going to tap into what lights you up and turns you on. We're going to lead from your pleasure. I'm going to talk to you about how to do that. And then we're going to conceptualize the masculine and the feminine energy in your leadership. So you really kind of can see how both are important. And sometimes we can get stuck in one or the other, and that can be not beneficial to us. So if there's any questions, please let me know. I am not seeing any. And if you have questions in the replay, please let me know. So, okay. La, la, la. Here we go. Okay, so igniting beauty, power, and presence in your everyday work. This is really great. So I want you to think about your life in your work. And everyone in this community does something different in terms of what their leadership is. They might be running their company from their couches. They might be showing up and doing work that doesn't necessarily require an office. When I worked on the mental health unit and I worked in the sub-acute program, I had an office that I shared. In the mental health unit, I did not, but I was still a leader in both. And so my environment was me, and when I did not have an office, and my environment was my office when I did. And my environment now is all kinds of places. My environment is this room. I have a front room that is a little bit more cozy and a little bit more vibey. One of my children is in there right now. My environment has been coffee shops and the gym, because we had like a little workspace there. It has been tables at restaurants. It has been restaurants. It has been all kinds of different places. As I posted on Instagram today, it's been the bathtub. It's been my bed. So we surround ourselves with all kinds of different ways that we can operate our leadership. And I want for you to just think about yours for just a minute. Think about what surrounds you. Think about if anything in that surrounding needs to shift. Maybe your walls are kind of bare, or maybe it's cluttered. Maybe that doesn't feel good. Maybe you have an office mate who's really like disorganized and that's not fun. Or maybe you have a gorgeous office, but you've got so many papers all over the place that you just need to spend some time getting it organized and put away. How can you invite more beauty into your work? Can you bring in flowers? Can you bring in art? Can you bring in decorations? When I worked in an office, I first worked with the other therapist that was on the unit with me. We had 2 therapists at the time. I think they have more now. And we shared an office, and he was super messy. So my side of the room would be very organized because I could handle mess during the day, but when I came in every morning, it needed to be cleaned up because I just couldn't handle like the clutter, walking into a cluttered desk. And then he moved out, and I shared an office with the school liaison, and she was all about decorating. She's like, we're going to make this office pretty. This was the first time that she'd had an office, I think. That might not be true, but it was the first time she'd had an office in quite a few years working there, because she worked in the little main unit area. And she and I went to town. She covered, we had like these weird cabinets that opened up, and she covered them. And we got art, and we got a mini fridge, and we had like these beautiful bookends, and I bought like some little like fun artsy things to put on the wall, and it was just a lot of fun. And it made it so, and we had like notebooks. We got each other like these like polka dot books. And it made going to work so much better. We got lamps. We turned off the lights. Now I would go back and put sparkle lights in it. Look, I've got them behind me. That was actually from her, that little vase. It's like a decanter, but I put sparkle lights in it because it makes me think of her. So when you think about it, this is a great example. I've got champagne glasses. I've got some flowers up there that are not real. I've got like a cute little air plant, because that's really what I can keep alive in this orchid, apparently. I have all kinds of fun art books, some decanters, some crystals, pictures of my kids, some cameras, because I like cameras and I have a history of being a photographer. And that makes me really happy. And it also allows me to dive into my work in a way that feels a little more connected, a little bit more spiritually connected, a little bit more soulfully connected. So when you're thinking about this, it feels a little silly, but it's really great for you to get into the vibe of where you work. It's like feng shui almost. I don't know much about feng shui. Although I think it's really cool. And I think you probably could have a consultant come in and feng shui your house or feng shui your office. But it is really about creating like this beautiful energy for you to come in and be the leader of your work. So the next question I have for you is, how do you dress for work? Do you wear clothes that light you up, or are you wearing clothes that are kind of like that? You know, I'll go walking around and I'll see these guys all in khakis that don't fit them. And or I'll see women in business suits that don't fit them. And I'm like, dude, it's, you know, you can really, like, this is a different conversation, but you can really find a nice suit that's not a lot of money and wear it. It doesn't have to be ill-fitting. So people were like, oh, I just don't have the time, but that affects your psyche. Even if you think that it doesn't, even if you're not into clothes, I'm a huge clothes person, but even if you're not into that, it still affects your psyche because it affects how you see yourself in the mirror. So then the next question about igniting beauty, power, and presence is all about what lights you up. And how can you feel more rooted in your power from that place? So surrounding yourself with things that light you up, that make you feel really passionate. And then how can that internalize into your body so that you feel really rooted and you feel really good and you feel really on fire about what you're doing? So we have a question over here, and we have it about, so where would you start? That's the question. Where would you start? And I'd say, you know what? Start anywhere. Start with cleaning up maybe a little bit, and then start with going to somewhere and getting some frames for some pictures, or getting some little tchotchkes. Or getting some candles if you can have candles in your office, or getting a plant that doesn't require a lot of energy. Like I said, air plants are great. They don't seem to need a lot of water, and they don't seem to need a lot of light. Really create a space and an environment that feels good. Go shopping, get yourself some new clothes. When we feel lit up by the things that surround us, and then also by conversations and by creativity and by the little things, it connects us even more deeply to the work we're here to do. The second thing is just the piggyback of tapping into what lights you up and what turns you on. So if you are doing work that doesn't really light your fire, ask yourself, is there a way for this work to light my fire? Have I lost it? Do I need to move on? Do I need to move on to the next kind of work that I'm here to do? Or is there something that can be shifted or tinkered with so that I feel better about it? If I'm bogged down by emails, or I'm bogged down by drama that's happening in my work, what kind of boundaries and policies can I create so that I'm not bogged down by these anymore, so I don't get burned out, so I don't feel like I'm just focused all the time on, you know, responding to my inbox or responding to social media, or just responding to things that I don't really need to be responding to right now. And how can I create space for myself to do that? The third thing is to lead from your turn on. So in the energy world, we are all magnets, and we're all magnetizing or we're repelling things for ourselves. It's all good. It's all happening. We're attracting things in, we're repelling things out. It's just like the law. It's the law of energy, the law of attraction, really. And in this like feeling of being turned on, we become a magnet for the things that light us up. So once we are in that energy of being lit up, more things come to us. And so let go of the things that don't turn you on. And if you have to do them with some kind of extra step. And allow yourself to just feel really, really good about doing the things that you're in your genius for. And if you can, hire help, get support, find somebody who their zone of genius is to do the crap that you don't like to do. Oh, because it's really helpful to do that. It's really just like so powerful when we can find people who love to do bookkeeping when we don't, like that turns my mom on. She loves bookkeeping. I can't stand it. Ugh. But that's just, that's so cool, that there's a difference and there are people out there who want to do the crap that you don't want to do, and want to be paid for it. So when you lead from feeling turned on, you're not bogged down by the energy of, I have to do this. This is another conversation I have to have. This is another thing I have to do. And if you're working with people that you don't enjoy working with, how can you shift that dynamic? How can you either shift the internal dynamic between you and that person? We'll talk more about that in the next module. Or how can you not work with that kind of person ever again? How can you know that you no longer want to attract in people of that energy? That's a really powerful question. So the physical feeling of being lit up and the physical feeling of being let down really impact your leadership. So that's what this module is all about, is this idea of what lights you up. What are the things that light you up? What are the ways you can be that light you up? What fuels you? What fulfills you? And that can be all kinds of different things: sleep, food, doing something you love, and also surrounding yourself with really amazing things. And then what doesn't work, and how can you do less of that? So the next thing I want to talk about is the masculine and feminine energy. But I think I have a question over here. Let's see. Okay, yes. So what if I have to do things I don't like to do? What if there's just like no choice? And my answer to that is yes, there will be things that you will have to do that you're not happy doing. Oh, because we just sometimes have to deal with stuff like that. And sometimes things come up, and sometimes we have to have hard conversations. Sometimes we have to fire people. Sometimes we have to deal with people we don't like at our jobs. Sometimes we have to deal with unhappy clients. Sometimes we have to deal with all kinds of stuff. Sometimes we have to do bookkeeping and we don't like bookkeeping, or we have to do taxes and we don't want to do taxes. So what do you do about that? So the answer is figure out a way to infuse your life and your surroundings, like everything around you, with so much more beauty, power, and presence, so that it feels good when you're doing it. So if you're doing bookkeeping, light a candle, maybe pour yourself a nice glass of wine or a beautiful hot chocolate or whatever, or a gorgeous cup of coffee. Get some music going. If you have to have a heart conversation, come to my intimacy module, because we're going to be talking about being seen and having those hard conversations and feeling grounded in those, because that's often why we don't want to have them, is we don't feel grounded. And when you do have those conversations, have your body and your surroundings set up so that it supports you. Spend some time figuring out what's working for you. And if you're in an environment where you feel like you just, there's not enough, then really look at that. Really think about why that is. And do you need to find a new work environment? Do you need to move on? Do you need to shift? Do you need to ask for a new role? Do you need to create a new role? Do you need to do something different? Do you need to hire somebody to support you? And when I'm talking about hiring somebody to support you, it might not necessarily be in your business. You might need somebody to come clean your house or to make your food or to help you with your kids. So really think about that too, that it doesn't have to be like, oh, I have to hire this thing for my business. It could be you as a leader need support in some way. And what does that look like? Okay, the masculine and feminine in your energy and leadership. So the masculine, we could go really deep into this, and I do and will go deep into this into my programs, but to make it very short and succinct. So the masculine is all about containers, productivity, forward leading. We're forward leading in our masculine energy. We're moving. Masculine energy is very action oriented, very like making stuff happen. Let's go. I can be very much in my masculine. I am a mover and a shaker. I am a doer. Mothering is masculine energy, funny enough, because I just learned this recently, because we're doing, we're actioning when we're mothering. So, which you would think mothering is like, isn't that a feminine thing? The nurturing side of mothering is, but the actual like moving and shaking as a mom, that's masculine energy. Feminine energy is about flow and creativity and pleasure and desire and, oh, that feeling, that feeling of just like, oh. Feminine energy is about loving like the look of the flower, or enjoying the pink of the cup, or enjoying the candle and being in the moment. It's very like moment breathing, feminine energy. And we need both in our leadership. The paradigm has mostly been in the masculine and sometimes in the toxic masculine. And the toxic masculine, I could go into that really for like hours. And the toxic feminine, I could go into for hours too. And I do in my programs. But you have an idea of what it is. Even like just thinking about it, you know what toxic masculinity is. You know what toxic femininity is. Toxic masculinity is like over competition, overdoing, not taking breaks, being in a very like bottom dollar, get shit done all the time, burnout energy. Toxic feminine is like not standing up for yourself and kind of being in this codependent relationship with everything and everyone, and like being over nurturing or over overflowing, or just like actually not getting anything done. Like being so caught up in the being that you don't actually get, you're not moving. And that's feminine, but that's toxic feminine. So today I'd like to ask you, what can you do to infuse more pleasure into your day and your work? What can you do today to for the week coming up, how can you really think about in your calendar and in your week, how can you infuse more pleasure, more juicy yes into your week and into your days? What food could bring that? What could you buy yourself some flowers if you like flowers and have them on your desk? What kind of breaks can you take? What does your lunches look like? What do your dinners look like? What do your conversations look like? What do your boundaries look like? What does your sleep look like? What do your clothes look like? This is not a one and done thing. This is not something where you're going to be like, boop, I got this. It always changes. We're always tinkering and we're always figuring it out deeper. This is part of the foundation to the intimate leader that I think that we all should be in our work. And it's really about creating an environment for ourselves, our bodies, our minds, our systems, so that we can show up in a whole different energy, in a whole different way. And it feels really good. So what if you thought about this? What if you thought about, okay, there's a lot of work I can do. There's a lot of work I can do to figure out the relationship issues I've got going on, or there's a lot of work I can figure out about the up level I want to take because I want my mission and my company to go bigger than what it is. And I know there's work to do and I just don't know what it is. This is the foundation. Don't sweep it under the rug. It could be very easy to be like, but that's not focusing on the work, but it actually is. We are focusing on the work by doing this first. So the next time we talk, we are going to be talking about the intimacy factor. So we're actually going to be talking about the intimacy spectrum. And the intimacy spectrum goes from eye contact with a stranger to physical intimacy with another human being. And it goes, and there's also in that spectrum, there's our own intimacy with ourselves so that we're healing and that we are knowing ourselves better and better and better all of the time. And that we are intimate with other people, whether it's friends or it's colleagues, clients, employees, children, parents, partners, people on the internet, all of it. And then the last day is my favorite day, which is all about creating your life as your own masterpiece. So this is about taking all of the big picture stuff and creating a beautiful masterpiece of your gorgeous life and doing it in a way that feels really good to you. So the crap that I put around my life, it's not a crap, but the stuff that I have around me, the things, the glasses, the candles, which is too hot to pick up now. All of that is important to me, but it might not be important to you. And so what might be important to you might be scheduling time to sleep under the stars or doing something else. And so we're going to figure that out for you and for us together. And it's going to be so great. I can't wait. Oh, we have a drawing. So the prize today, let me get this crystal bowl. Hold on. I love that I can show up and not be perfect about all of this too. It's really nice. So, okay, I want to tell you about the drawing. So we're going to have 3 prizes for the 3 modules. And today, the prize is the upgrade. So there was a beautiful little upgrade that went with this, if you saw it in your emails. And it was $22, and it was the Art of Intimacy Masterclass. And it was a visualization. So it's like a guided visualization and a gratitude rampage. And whoever's name I call out will get it for free. If you already got it, just let me know and I'll send you something else. So I don't know what the next one's going to be free, what the next prize is going to be, but the final prize on the last day, and if you come in live, you have more of a chance of winning than if you just signed up. It's either going to be access to my Prosperity Blueprint course, which is $444, or, and you get to choose, or it will be a channel session with me. So it'll be about channeling with your higher self and your connection to your work and speaking with your business and speaking with your leadership role or whatever it is that you do, and really mapping out a plan for the next year. So you get to decide which one you want, and that'll be on the third day. So how you can win. Okay, join the Facebook group, the Maven Facebook group. Follow the Maven Instagram page, which is Magnificent Maven, and it's private. So do that. Invite friends into the group or to follow Magnificent Maven, get your name in that way. The group, every time that somebody comes in that you haven't invited, your name goes in again. Share this. Share, take a picture of me and share on your stories or on a post about how much you love this and invite them in. And that gets your name into the crystal bowl of abundance. If you share on a post, you get 2 points. You get your name in there twice. If you share on the stories, then 1. And you can do it daily, like today, tomorrow, and then your name goes in each day. Okay, that's exciting. Let's see. Let's see. That person's not in here anymore. I need to take them out. Let's see. Rachel Corby. So this is actually your Instagram account that I picked up. You won the upgrade. So I will tag you and just send me a direct message and I will send you all the information for that beautiful upgrade. Yay, perfect. Okay, so I hope you have a great day and I will talk to you soon. Bye.